started in 2011, approximately. Had a friend who showed me how to breadboard circuits out. It's like where you have kind of a panel with a bunch of pin sockets, and you patch everything together without soldering it. So it sort of created the foundation of how things are sort of assembled or put together. And then from there we were ironing onto copper plates and etching them and drilling them and making our own boards. And I guess by the time it was maybe 2013, I built sort of my first fuzz pedal that I released. It wasn't very nice to build, and decided to sort of go back to the drawing board, and 5 years later or 4 years later or something, the Lightning Wave stuff came together. Yes, back in maybe 2012, I went through kind of an incubator process to make an app that was touchscreen based, that you could trace your LFO waves on the screen and then have that transmitted out of the audio port into a device that could then turn that into an effect. And that kind of went on the back burner because it sort of didn't work at the time. And then I met Johnny through New Zealand Guitars Forum, and we were both kind of, he was well on his way to making analog delays, and I was making some pretty ugly kind of bit crushery thing, and I sort of mentioned it to him. He goes, "Oh, you could do it like this." It kind of went from there, because I guess with microcontrollers you can kind of keep, I guess the code's modular, so you can keep adding parts to it that as long as you've got pins available, that each pin you can sort of create a function where one might read the expression pedal and the other one outputs the voltage for the CV, and maybe another pin outputs the upside down voltage for the CV, and so on. So it's definitely developed and grown from the first version. You asked before about the different products that have been designed, and there are 3 pedals, and then there's the EVA, which is a miniaturized version. One is called the Ghost, the first one, which was a tremolo, and that just fluctuates your volume or amplitude modulation. The second one is called the Astro, and it's a phaser, which is, I guess it has 2 parallel channels in it, and it kind of switches filters on and off, and that creates a phasing effect. And you can have the number of stages kind of changes the intensity of that effect. And it started off as 4 stages, and now it's 8, and I've kind of made it modular to the point where you can actually switch it between 4, 8 and 12 stages, which is pretty hardcore. And it's also very small compared with I'm kind of obsessed with making stuff miniaturized, so so I can fit it into these cases. And the third one here is the Doom, which is kind of a redesign on the original Ghost circuit, where it's been turned to stereo but in reverse, so you can run 2 effect signals into it and blend between them. Okay, I'm running through there. I'll just turn this off for a second. See if I can reach down there. This is this chain. And then this is just this effect. So now I can, that's just kind of in manual mode, so say you were to plug in an expression pedal, you could control that sweep manually, or you could, say for instance, hold this dial down, and in this preset I could automate this. I think it's they've always sort of focused on the routing of signals as well. I think you can, like for instance, the Doom effect that blends two different signal chains together really just opens up the possibilities of how many different things you can combine together rather than focusing what the device itself sounds like. So it's I don't think many people venture into the parallel sound or signal chain side of things, but there is a lot of fun to be had. So I think if I can kind of encourage it, I will.
How many pedals have you sold? Do you know?
No, not that many. Maybe might be 100 out there. And I guess in that time I've redesigned it 3 times, so I'm kind of fixated on making it as good as it can possibly be. A bit to its detriment in terms of productivity. It doesn't. They don't really roll out there. The little things that annoy me I really want to fix before I make the next version. I mean, they're all functionally the same, and on the outside they do the same thing, but it's more a personal thing in terms of how satisfying it is to assemble. Yeah, there's a chap, a producer in LA called Ricky Reed, who he bought the set, and Ryan Adams as well. I think that was just through posting on Instagram. You know. He's pretty active on Instagram. A really nice guy as well. And he was super stoked about them, so it's a bit of a confidence booster, you know. A lot coming up. It's just whether or not I have the time to figure out how to release them properly, because you can just put them out on the internet and they just disappear or don't really make much of a splash. So trying to set up a nice website and things like that is integral to it working out.